In the heart of Egypt, on the Giza Plateau, near Cairo stands a structure that has defied time itself for 4,500 years. The Great Pyramid of Khufu. This is not just a monument to an ancient ruler. It is a mathematical puzzle wrapped in stone, an engineering impossibility that challenges our understanding of ancient capabilities. The numbers alone are staggering. Height 146 meters, equivalent to a modern 40-story skyscraper. Number of stone blocks, 2.3 million individual pieces. Average weight per block, 2.5 tons, roughly the weight of 2 modern automobiles. Heaviest block, 80 tons, heavier than a fully loaded commercial truck. Total estimated weight, 6 million tons of solid stone. Construction period, approximately 20 years according to historical records. That means workers would need to place one massive stone block every 5 minutes, working 10 hours per day, every single day without rest, for 2 full decades. But here's what makes this truly impossible by ancient standards. No cranes existed in ancient Egypt. No iron tools had been invented yet. No wheels were used in the construction process. No modern pulleys as we understand them today. So how did ancient Egyptian engineers accomplish this seemingly impossible feat? How did they move 2.3 million massive stone blocks and stack them into a perfect pyramid, reaching nearly 150 meters into the sky? This question has haunted archaeologists, engineers, and historians for thousands of years, and the answer is far more shocking than anyone imagined. Today we reveal the truth hidden inside this ancient wonder, a truth that rewrites everything we thought we knew about. Human capability and ancient engineering. Let's step back 4,500 years to the scorching desert of Giza and uncover the secrets of the impossible. Let's examine the numbers that make this construction seem absolutely impossible to modern engineers. 2.3 million stone blocks. Think about that number for a moment. If workers placed one block every 5 minutes, working 10 hours per day, every single day without rest or breaks, it would take approximately 20 years to complete the entire structure. That's one perfectly positioned block. Every 5 minutes for 2 decades straight. Average block weight, 2.5 tons. That's significantly heavier than 2 modern cars combined. The heaviest granite blocks used in the King's Chamber, 80 tons each. These massive stones were transported from quarries over 800 kilometers away in Egypt's eastern desert region near Aswan. The limestone came from Tura quarries, located across the Nile River from Giza, approximately 15 kilometers away. Over 2 million blocks had to cross the river. But here's where it gets even more mind-bending. The pyramid's base covers 13 acres of desert land, approximately 230 meters on each side. The 4 sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions: north, south, east, west. The margin of error in this alignment, less than 4 minutes of arc. That's an accuracy of just 0.067 degrees. To put that in perspective, modern construction with laser levels and GPS technology struggles to achieve such precision. The ancient engineers accomplished this with copper tools, rope, and star observations. How did they survey the land with such mathematical perfection? How did they transport blocks, weighing tons across shifting desert sand and flowing river water? How did they lift these massive stones to heights of 146 meters? How did they cut stone with such precision that a knife blade cannot fit between blocks? For centuries, historians believed they had the answer. They were completely wrong. For generations, popular culture and history books have told us one story. The pyramids were built by slaves, hundreds of thousands of enslaved people, whipped into submission under the brutal desert sun. This narrative comes from ancient Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt 2,000 years after the pyramids were built, and from biblical interpretations that conflated different time periods. But modern archaeology has completely shattered this myth. In the 1990s, systematic excavations near the Giza Plateau uncovered something extraordinary. A workers' village, not a slave camp with suffering and despair. A structured community with dormitories, bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities. The evidence is undeniable and has been verified by archaeologists from multiple countries. Archaeological findings show that workers received regular rations of bread and beer as compensation. Estimates suggest that over 4,000 loaves of bread were produced daily to feed the workforce. That's not minimal slave rationing. That's organized payment for valued workers whose health mattered. Skeletal remains found in workers' tombs near the pyramids reveal something even more significant. These individuals received sophisticated medical care. Broken bones had been carefully set and healed properly, indicating skilled medical intervention. Surgical interventions are evident, including successful amputations. Some workers lived for years, after serious injuries, cared for by their community. Here's the question that destroys the slave narrative. Why would slavers provide expensive medical care, quality, food, and proper burial to expendable slaves? The answer is simple: they wouldn't. Economic logic makes slavery inefficient for this scale of project. These were paid workers receiving compensation, skilled laborers trained in specialized crafts, master craftsmen who signed their work with team names, seasonal workers who came during Nile flooding when farming was impossible. They were not enslaved people building from fear. They were Egyptian citizens participating in a national project, compensated with food, shelter, and honor. The pyramid was not built by chains and whips. It was built by community, skill, and organization. But if they weren't slaves, how did paid workers with only copper tools build Earth's largest stone structure? That question leads to the most fascinating discoveries. If not slave brutality, what built the pyramids? The answer lies in three elements: ingenuity, organization, and physics. Let's start with quarrying. Workers at Tura quarries across the Nile used copper tools to cut channels around stone blocks. Copper was the hardest available metal before the Bronze Age. The technique was ingenious. Workers pounded copper chisels into limestone, creating deep channels on all sides. Then wooden wedges were inserted and soaked with water. As wood absorbed moisture and expanded, stone cracked along precise lines. This allowed remarkable accuracy in creating uniform blocks. Once freed, blocks were transported to the Nile and loaded onto wooden barges. The Nile's annual flooding created a natural transportation network. During flood season, water levels rose significantly, bringing the river closer to both quarries and construction site. This reduced overland distance dramatically. But moving 2.5-ton blocks across desert sand seemed impossible. Sand is unstable. Heavy objects sink and create friction. Then archaeologists conducted experiments based on ancient Egyptian artwork. They discovered a fascinating technique. Workers poured water onto sand in front of wooden sledges. Not too much, which creates mud. Just enough to dampen the surface. Moisture reduced friction by up to 50% according to physics measurements. Damp sand particles stick together, creating firmer surface. Teams could drag massive stones with far less effort. Physics did the heavy lifting, not whips. Organization was crucial too. Workers were divided into specialized teams. Some cut stones, others transported them. Specialized teams handled placement. This systematic division created efficiency. But the real mystery remains. How did they lift stones to 146 meters, nearly 50 stories high? For decades, theories suggested massive external ramps spiraling around the pyramid. But such ramps would require more material than the pyramid itself. And no archaeological evidence exists at Giza. So what's the answer? It may have been hiding inside all along. In 2008, a revolutionary theory emerged that challenged everything. What if the ramps weren't outside at all? What if they were inside the pyramid itself? The internal ramp theory proposes something brilliant. Ancient engineers built traditional external ramps for the first 43 meters of height. This accounts for roughly the first third and the majority of blocks. Then, instead of continuing massive external ramps, they constructed spiraling internal ramps within the structure for the remaining height. This internal ramp would spiral upward through the pyramid's core, hidden from view. This theory explains several mysteries. First, why no evidence of massive external ramps exists at Giza despite extensive searches. Second, why the Grand Gallery and ascending passage have such unusual dimensions. The Grand Gallery is massive, 8.6 meters high, 46 meters long, rising at a 26-degree angle. Its size seems excessive for a simple passageway. According to the internal ramp theory, these weren't just ceremonial routes. They were functional construction elements, part of an internal pulley and counterweight system used to haul stones upward. The Grand Gallery's unique. Corbelled ceiling would be perfect for anchoring rope systems. The precise angle would allow optimal mechanical advantage. Evidence from other pyramids supports this. At Abu Rawash and other Old Kingdom sites, remnants of internal ramps have been found. This proves the technique was known and used. But for years, this remained fascinating theory without proof. Archaeologists debated extensively, until 2023. That's when everything changed. In March 2023, researchers using cutting-edge technology announced a stunning discovery. They found evidence hidden inside the Great Pyramid for 4,500 years, evidence that supports the internal ramp theory and reveals how the impossible was achieved. Let's examine the 2023 discovery in detail. For decades, archaeologists debated how pyramids were built. Then came muon radiography technology. This uses cosmic ray particles constantly bombarding Earth from space. Muons can penetrate solid rock. By measuring absorption, scientists create detailed internal maps without drilling. In 2023, the Scan Pyramids project deployed sophisticated detectors around the Great Pyramid. Results were astonishing. Scans revealed a previously unknown corridor hidden for 4,500 years. The corridor measures 9 meters long, 2 meters wide, 2 meters high, located in the northern face above the main entrance. To confirm, researchers fed a 6-millimeter thick endoscope through tiny joints between stones. The camera revealed an empty corridor with ancient construction marks. But here's what makes this historically significant. The corridor's location and orientation match exactly what the internal ramp theory predicted years before. It's positioned precisely where an internal construction passage would need to be. The angle is consistent with hauling operations. Dimensions would allow workers to maneuver blocks. This isn't coincidence. This is evidence. Further analysis revealed something more compelling. Researchers found notches and anchor points in the grand gallery walls. These show wear patterns from ropes under tension, evidence of sustained use over time. The ancient engineers didn't just stack stones through brute force. They turned the pyramid into its own construction machine. Using internal ramps, leverage systems, and primitive pulleys, they lifted massive blocks to incredible heights. The mystery that has puzzled humanity for 4,500 years is finally being solved, not through speculation, through science and evidence. Even with modern technology, cosmic ray scanning, and advanced archaeology, the Great Pyramid continues to hold secrets. We now understand more than ever before. Not built by slaves, but by skilled workers taking pride in their craft. Not by brute force, but by ingenious engineering and problem solving. Not by chance, but by precise mathematical planning. Yet profound questions remain unanswered. How did ancient engineers achieve perfect cardinal alignment? Using only star observations? What other chambers and passages lie hidden within the massive stone core? Why did they choose this specific design? With its particular angles and dimensions, some mysteries may never be fully solved, and perhaps that's exactly as it should be. The Great Pyramid stands as an eternal testament to human capability, ingenuity, and determination. It reminds us that our ancestors were not primitive or less intelligent. They were brilliant problem solvers who accomplished the impossible with limited tools but unlimited creativity. 4,500 years later, their masterpiece still towers over the desert sands, still inspires wonder in everyone who sees it, still challenges our understanding. The workers who built this monument are gone, their names mostly forgotten, but their achievement lives on, more permanent than any written record. Every stone represents human hands that shaped it, human minds that calculated its placement, and cooperation on a scale rarely seen in history. As we continue to uncover secrets using 21st century technology, we honor those ancient builders. We prove that curiosity, persistence, and the drive to understand the impossible are timeless. Human qualities connecting us across millennia. The Great Pyramid was not just built to house royalty. It was built to inspire awe across ages, and it has succeeded beyond measure. The mystery may be slowly unraveling, piece by piece, discovery by discovery. But the wonder, the profound sense of connection to our ancestors, the inspiration to achieve the impossible, that remains eternal. As long as the pyramid stands, it will continue challenging us to learn, inspiring us to build, and reminding us that we are all part of one continuous human story. The pyramid's greatest secret isn't how it was built. It's what it continues to teach us about ourselves.